Welcome back to the shop today. We are going to be working on our part 3 of our Toyota project here, our 3.4 liter Toyota out of a 4Runner. It's out of a 98 4Runner. Today we're going to be taking the stuff off the front of the engine for the timing set. So that's going to be the timing belt, the water pump, thermostat, all that fun stuff. Let's get right into that, and all the components that we use. I'll make sure I go over every single part number with you guys. Keep in mind, I've never done this before, so let's learn together. Okay, these are some tools that I think you're gonna need. Not 100% positive. If there are any other ones that pop up, I will be sure to let you guys know. I do have a half-inch ratchet here. This is a pretty long one. I have a 19 millimeter, that's for your crank pulley bolt. 17 millimeter, that'll be for your actual cam gears that go into your cam. And you got a 14, a 12, and a 10. Not sure if we need a 13 in there anywhere. That's to take off any AC accessory brackets, your idler pulleys, the front, lower timing cover, etc. I do have a specialty tool here. This is from a company called Schley. I know I went over this in video number 1. It's part number 96800, and that actually is a fork that holds the cam gears as you undo those. I do got a small Milwaukee impact. Not sure if I'm gonna need that strap wrench to maybe hold the harmonic balancer here. And we'll need this probably large Milwaukee, probably a couple of those puller sets as well, from OTC to get the damper off. Whenever we get into that, I'll make sure I go over part numbers with you all. Okay, so we got my generator over here, using it for a nice little tool stand. That works out great. Did grab a rubber mallet and a couple extensions. So we're going to be removing all this stuff today, hopefully. The cam gears, the left and right hand cam gears, this bearing, we're going to be taking that off. This front lower timing cover, we're going to take that off, remove the harmonic balancer, get all the timing stuff out, thermostat, water pump, etc. Not sure if that'll all be in this video. Might do it in increments. This is where your AC compressor actually mounts. We're going to be taking that bracket out as well. I know you technically don't have to remove this tensioner, which is down here, this hydraulic tensioner, but it's already out, so we're just going to go ahead and remove it to get it out of the way. We're going to remove this AC bracket. All right, there's 4 bolts. Now, I will tell you before I take the last bolt out, these bolts are not the same size, and you always want to look at that, or else you could potentially mix them up. The longer 2 actually came out of the front, and the 2 that are shorter came out of the rear. There should just be one more here in the front. This whole bracket should pop off. That's a really long bolt for the front bracket. So, okay, now that we have that AC bracket off, we're going to use our same. It's a 14 millimeter. We're going to remove these. This is a nut here. This is a bolt. Another nut over here. We're going to remove all 3 of those, and this should remove our lower timing cover. It's a nut with a built-in washer on the end of it. Long bolt. And just a regular nut. So your regular nut here goes to your left side. Your nut with your washer goes to your right side. I'll probably put the stuff back on where it goes, so there's no chance of losing it. I don't know, that bolt might end up being in the way. I might end up taking that out. Okay, now that we have a couple items removed, we're going to try to remove this harmonic balancer here. I'm going to be using this OTC bearing puller set, or bearing puller pusher separator, part number 4518. We are going to be using this T tool that I'll show you how to use here. Probably going to be trying to use my impact. Might try to use that strap wrench as well. You could probably do this. In vehicle is going to be a lot more difficult, but while we have it out of the vehicle, I think it's probably going to be pretty simple. Okay, I do have my strap wrench routed around that harmonic balancer. Now this is a Milwaukee impact. I'm going to be using the 19mm impact socket. We'll see if we can zip this bolt off of the harmonic balancer. No problem. Okay, I've seen horror stories trying to get these balancers off with pry bars, etc. So you do have to have some different bolts. The bolts in my kit did not work. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually remove these two, I believe they're 12mm bolts. I'm gonna remove two of those from the AC compressor bracket, and I'm actually gonna use those in conjunction with this pulley tool here. So let me get that system set up and let's see if we can get this off pretty easy. Okay, so this is a setup. I did take the two bolts out from the AC compressor bracket, and this is a 19mm. So we should just be able to screw this in, and that should be able to pull the, oh hell, I didn't even need to use a, oh, I thought that was gonna be on there really tight. Okay, that's cool, that's coming right out. Back this bolt out a little bit more. Oh wow, that's not tight at all. Give me just a minute, let's see if we can get this off. So I took the OTC tool off. Those are the bolts that came out of the AC compressor bracket. It kept stopping because I believe we were bottoming out, and I had to keep backing the bolt out. The rest was just gonna hold it on. There you have it. Harmonic balancer is off. Now it is keyed. It's splined, and there's a matching key there. I'll get you guys up close, but awesome. Okay, next we're gonna remove this lower timing cover here. These are 10mm. Little shoulder bolt. One up here in the corner. And all of these bolts are the same as well. Got a little shoulder on them. Okay, now before we take all the stuff apart, we want to make sure this is at top dead center or in time. To do that, you can see there's a little pink mark here and a little arrow on the top of the engine block there. Those need to line up, but it's important that as those line up, these notches, you're marked your right cam gear and it has a notch right there, and your left cam gear and it has a notch right there. Those notches need to line up with this notch and the timing cover here. So in order to do that, you actually have to rotate the engine. And you just take your 19mm bolt, and as your pink alignment mark comes back around, it's coming up. As that lines up, okay, that's good. Hang on one second. Let's see if I can get in there for you guys. Okay, you can see if you can see, there's a mark on the front of the engine there, and then that mark needs to line up with that pink witness mark, and it also has a dot and indentation in it, and that lines up with your timing marks. And your timing marks line up with the notches here. If you do a straight line down through here. They line up with one another. That means you're at top dead center. So now we're ready to start taking some stuff apart. Okay, now that we have everything at top dead center, we're going to remove this tensioner. There's actually this keyed washer here that goes on the front. Can't put it on any other way. We'll actually take that off also. Keep that with your balancer. Now these are 12mm bolts. We should be able to undo these and drop this tensioner down. Need a little bit more firepower. If this one doesn't get it off, we're screwed. Okay, now that we have the tensioner removed from the bottom there, this pulley was able to slide freely. You can pull this timing belt off. You should remove the tension on everything. So that's the old one removed. Next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to remove this timing gear here on your crank. And this is splined. You'll notice your pink mark is facing up towards your arrow on your engine. They do say that you could use a puller. You could use a puller to get that off, but mine came right off, luckily. Okay, next we're going to remove our center idler, which actually rolls really well. Yeah, it's a 14mm bolt. Maybe a factory piece. Says Japan on it. Yeah, this is Japan. Next, we're going to move our bearing here that the tensioner actually pressed up on. It's held in by a big giant Allen key. It's actually a 10, number 10. Okay, we're going to see if we can remove these cam gears. Now they are marked L and R for left and right side. This is a 17mm bolt here, so we're going to use the Milwaukee impact. Now this is where I'm going to use this Schley Tools model number 96800, and it's actually going to sit inside of this cam gear here to hold that once we torque it. Let's see if we can get these to pop off. Hopefully. Now if this one turns, don't freak out. You can just turn it back. It's not a big deal. Okay, now that you have the nut busted loose, just grab the cam gear, set it aside, and then your little dowel pin here. You're gonna wanna make sure that you don't drop that. I just pulled it off with a magnet on a stick there. I'm actually going to put that in a magnetic tray so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to repeat the process on the opposite side. Okay, so with your left and right hand cam gear and your little dowel pins removed, we're going to get in and taking some more parts off of the engine here. Now keep in mind we are going to do be doing the cam seals, which is behind this cover, so we'll have to remove this cover. Probably going to take this oil dipstick tube loose. We'll end up taking the water pump off. Not sure if that'll be in this video, thermostat, etc. But let's see if we can get this cam cover off, or timing cover rather. Okay, I'm going to disconnect this cam position sensor. I believe this is a 10mm bolt. We'll have to take this off, and then you also have to. There's a little metal bracket here. There's a small button you need to depress inside of the sensor. Actually push that in. You should be able to pull that wire out. And then you'll just leave this portion here in place. Keep that little retainer in place. We'll take a 10mm bolt and get that out. Remove the cam position sensor. Bolt back in so you don't lose it. There's a little alignment dowel in there that lines up in the actual engine block. So, okay, we're going to be taking this very front #1 timing cover off. There's actually 6 bolts, so you have they're all 10 millimeter as well. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, and the last one's kind of hidden right here. That little tab that we just took off for the cam position sensor. This little metal piece. You're actually going to have to flip that up a little bit to access that bolt, or else you won't be able to get this cover off. These are all the same size, all very shallow little bolt, and they all have washers with them, so make sure you keep those washers as well. And now we can remove this timing cover. Look at the, it's interesting. One side is way cleaner than the other. Like you can see this entire side, including up around the cylinder head here where the fuel injector rail and stuff is, how much cleaner that is than this side. If you guys remember, this is the side that had the leaking valve cover gasket that had that 1-inch opening in it, and all of that debris and blow by and buildup and everything just accumulated out here over the years.